Welcome to Recovery and Resiliency. I'm Marcus. I'm the Veteran Wellness Coordinator for this program, and we are so excited to have you along. In each of your boxes for each phase, you're going to have a lot of different tools and supplements and other things in there that we want to orient you toward. So today we're going to do a quick unboxing of your first box. The first thing I want to show you about is your Amari supplements. These supplements are formulated in such a way that you want to take one dose from the fundamentals pack each day. So just look for the purple label on the Amari fundamentals pack. These are meant to be taken at breakfast. So all three of these work in tandem together. Now, when you're taking your supplements, make sure you take it per the instructions on the label. More does not equal better with these things. One thing you should know about these supplements, these are all essentially food-based or some sort of plant extract or something like that. They are not meant as a replacement to any of your prescriptions. But what these are designed to do, at least the fundamentals pack here, is essentially to provide nutrition for what's called the gut-brain axis. Amari has some information and videos on their website, which we'll include in the description of this video, where you can kind of find out some more. So you want to take these three with breakfast. So as of today, as you unbox, this can be the very first thing that you do. So you want to put this somewhere in your house to make it easy to see and access each day. Whenever you're building up new habits, if you want to start doing something new, make it as easy as possible. So whether that is some sort of vitamin container that you have or just next to your coffee machine or whatever it may be, get started on these first. Now, there are three other supplements within the Amari pack. This is for a 90-day supply. You will be renewed each phase with a new supply of Amari supplements. The other three, there's Relief, Mood, and Sleep. A bit self-explanatory as far as what they are for. Relief is an anti-inflammatory that is supposed to help with pain. Mood is for anxiety relief, and Sleep, well, you can figure that one out. All right, so moving on. Next, we're going to talk about your Garmin. This thing is a pretty awesome tool. It allows you to do a lot of biometric tracking, sleep tracking, fitness tracking. The list goes on and on. We have a lot of resources on that straight from Garmin's website. But what you do need to know as you get started with this is that you need to download an app on your phone. It's called Garmin Connect, available wherever you get your apps. And this will link up to your phone via Bluetooth. What's cool about this watch is it has what's called an optical heart rate monitor. So that's the little flashy thing that's on the back of the watch face. And so that is able to collect a lot of data to track your sleep, to track what's called heart rate variability, to track your stress scores, and the list goes on and on. So one of the things that you should get familiar with right off the bat is what's called a stress score. Okay? And so the way that the stress score works with these Garmins is that basically it's taking heart rate variability, which is a biometric that measures essentially the balance between your rest and digest system and your fight or flight system within your central nervous system, and gives you a readout of your score. It's like an objective way where you can kind of tap into how stressed out you are at any given moment. It will, on the app, it will show you a graph of that, and you can also view it in real time on the watch. So during the course of this program, as you are learning to meditate, as you're learning to eat better, move better, sleep better, you can track all of these things objectively with this one tool. Not to mention it has GPS capabilities, so if you're ever going on a hike, a run, a bike, a swim, a paddleboard, any of those things, you can track that stuff. Lots of other cool features there, but stress and step count and sleep are the ones that you want to check out and try and improve those over time. Now, when we start out with the program, don't expect all of these things to suddenly jump up, but the first couple of weeks are going to be kind of that time to give you a baseline. Something else that you should know about Garmin Connect. This device is going to give us, our team here at Mission 22, an idea of how you're progressing. We will collect that information anonymously so that we can kind of do studies later on to see how things are progressing and to help work with you to see what's working and how things can continue to evolve and improve in the future. The next device I want to tell you about is called NewCalm. So NewCalm is the product of about 2 decades worth of research into neuroacoustics, which is just a fancy word to describe a technology that artificially puts your brain into a different wavelength. So throughout the day, your brain waves change depending on what activity you're doing. Now, this can be measured objectively using something like an EEG machine, for example. What NewCalm does is it artificially puts your brain into a state of alpha and theta brainwave frequencies. And these are frequencies that you'll see in the most restorative parts of your sleep. If you are overstressed or having a really hard time sleeping, often it's difficult to get the amount of time in those wavelengths while you're sleeping to be able to restore and recover and heal. So what NewCalm does is you'll download an app, and we will provide you login information with that. It requires a license to use. And it has programs that are anywhere from like a 20-minute power nap upwards to, they're working on now a 90-minute nap and a bunch of other stuff in between. So what it does is it artificially puts your brain into those wavelengths that allow you to calm down and to heal. Another cool thing about NewCalm, as you're using it, you're going to use these discs. Now these discs are really quite mind-blowing the way that they work. With this video, we'll include a link to several other podcasts from the NewCalm site to learn more about kind of the science there. But essentially the way it works, and there are instructions here in the pack, is that you want to first off keep the discs within this static container. Okay, so whenever you remove a disc and place it onto what's called a pericardium 6, so it's an acupressure point. There are clear instructions in here on where that goes. What that does essentially is there's a cluster of nerves there under your wrist that, when exposed to this electromagnetic signal, will start to produce inhibitory neurotransmitters in your brain. It's a really cool process the way it works. But the point is that these are inert within the bag. This is like a static prevention bag where they're not going to discharge. They'll activate as soon as you put them on your skin. So when you're not using these, you need to make sure they stay within this bag. And you only want to use one at a time on the left wrist. There are more instructions on the app that you're going to download as well as on their site, which we have linked below. Each kit also comes with a pair of Sony headphones, and these headphones were specifically chosen to use with NewCalm. That has to do with the wavelengths of sound that they're able to produce to then entrain your brain to get into alpha and theta brain frequencies. I know, that's very sciencey, and again, if you want to delve into it more deeply, there are several podcasts that NewCalm has put out that explains it really well. You can use your own headset, but it's recommended that you use these. Okay, the next part of the box, you'll see you have a card for gym sponsorship. So part of this program is to get you plugged in with a community that is active and is just getting after it at the gym, and that's really an important piece of this. This is meant to not as like a 24-hour fitness kind of a thing where you just go to a weight room and stare at the wall and do like extensions. This is for a group fitness type of gym. So that could be Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it could be CrossFit, it could be Zumba if that's the thing you're into. That's awesome. But the idea is to get you moving and get you plugged into a local community where you're going to have some accountability there. You're going to be excited to show up. So there are instructions on this card on how you do that. Essentially, you'll go to that particular gym, whether it's a MMA or a CrossFit box, like I said, and you'll give this to them, and this will tell them what to do to link up with our resources to get your membership taken care of. The other two things in this box are going to be your first round of books. There's Transitions. And the synopses of these books are all located in the brochure that's included that you'll get an email of as well as a hard copy. There's War in the Soul, and there's also the Mission 22 book. All of these books are purposefully meant for the beginning phases of this program, and you can read more in the brochure of kind of why we chose those. Which order you go in is completely up to you. I would personally recommend War in the Soul, as it does a really good job of explaining this concept of a soul wound. It's a topic that is difficult to discuss, and not everyone really acknowledges that it's a thing. So the author does just a really good job of using many examples from the Vietnam War of soldiers that were coming back and just having a really tough time reintegrating. And he has a good perspective on post-traumatic stress as not just a biological manifestation of like a past stress, but really gets into detail talking about how it's a deeper wound than that. So anyway, that would be a good place to start for the books. There's also the Monk Manual. Now, you're gonna get one of these per phase. The Monk Manual, we selected between a lot of different journals out there. For one thing, it's very nicely bound. It's a manual you can take pride in. Essentially, it's a very fancy journal. You'll have an opportunity to make journal entries on a monthly, weekly, and daily basis. And each page is laid out very specifically to include things like what you're grateful for that day, what you're looking forward to, ways you can improve, things that went well, establishing themes instead of specific goals for the day. Often that's a better way to look at it. Anyway, their website, again, their resources will be linked with this video, has a lot of other explanations on how to use it. But you can go ahead and open it up, and a lot of it's self-explanatory. All right, so that covers phase one. If you have any questions on any of these things, first, I want you to check out all of the resources that are linked with this video. And if there are any additional questions, please contact me at marcus@mission22.com. As you're starting to get all of your things together, it's also important that you link up with the rest of your cohort. So that will be done via a site called Workplace. If you haven't heard of Workplace, it's a type of a social media account that is made by Facebook, but it's not the same as your Facebook account. We will send you information on how to log on, and you will automatically be put in your cohort. That is a forum where I will be giving a few short videos, I'll be asking questions, and you'll have a chance to talk to the rest of your team and give some feedback on how things are going along with the program.